Hi everybody, this is Saad for the Sad Truth. Last night, after hearing about the latest attack in London, I posted some comments on my social portals, which I'd like to read now for you. So this is an open message to all decent people. And then I'd like to discuss some stuff that transpired after I posted the comments. I'll begin by reading the comments and then I'll explain the situation that took place after. People who refuse to be unapologetically honest and loud about the exact cause of the global mayhem that we are facing are fully and unequivocally complicit actors in this civilizational tragedy. Every cowardly politician, every highbrow, quote, liberal academic, every media personality, every Hollywood celebrity, every, quote, progressive punk, every OPS, ostrich parasitic syndrome, sufferer, and all other willfully blind and diabolically duplicitous pigs are enemies of truth, enemies of reason, enemies of human dignity, enemies of innocence. Every time that you choose to be quiet in the face of the usual OPS obfuscations, you are laughing at the grave of the innumerable innocent people who have been butchered by this ideology of hate over the past 1400 years. Shame on you for looking away as your fellow humans are enslaved, raped, mutilated, oppressed, and murdered. And all of this monumental cowardice stems from one fear, being called a, quote, racist bigot. It is perhaps the greatest collective cowardice that mankind has ever experienced. So I put these comments up last night and received just an incredible amount of support. I haven't checked exactly how many people have read it, but I think it's probably on my various social portals rapidly approaching 100,000. Excuse me. But then I noticed that one gentleman, a former guest on my show. Now I'm not pointing to him because I hold any animus towards him. As a matter of fact, it's the exact opposite. He came on my show. We then had some offline communiques, and he struck me as a decent fellow. But this gentleman is Mubin Sheikh, who came on my show. He's a former extremist. I hate that term, but in any case, that's the term that is used in common parlance these days, who now helps folks become de-radicalized. And so you can go and check the tweets in our exchange. Unfortunately, he ended up unfollowing me and then blocking me. This is a guy who wants open and honest dialogue. And he basically said, hey, dude, I'm paraphrasing, but that's the kind of language you're speaking with. You're too anti-Muslim for me. I can't take this. And then he unfollowed me. So I responded back and I said, well, so I'm paraphrasing here what I wrote. You could still see my tweets. They're up on my Twitter feed, but you might not be able to see his. Or I guess you can, unless you're blocked by him. I said, look, it's quite extraordinary and that you would right away turn to religious tribalism when you and I should be equally indignant and angry about the fact that human beings were just killed, right? The fact that you can't just drop your instinctual defense to protect your religion. His shtick basically is that once he went and learned true Islam, you know, he's a Sufi now, then he realized that all the other guys, all the guys over the past 1400 years, all the Al-Azhar scholars, all the caliphs, all of the Islamic rulers, all the Islamic scholars, all of the Islamic terror groups, everyone who's ever committed any acts of violence in the name of their religion, including the 30,000 plus terror acts committed by the ideology since 9/11 alone across every corner of the world, everyone has misunderstood true Islam. But he met a sheikh who taught him the real Islam, and it is just such a shame that all of the people for the past 1400 years have so misunderstood Islam. So he is part of the problem, right? When the first instinct that he has to my comments, which are very tempered, right, is, hey, you're an anti-Islam guy and so on. He's part of the problem. His first instinct is not to be angry, right? I stayed up most of the night because I'm angry. When I see the Afghan killings, the bomb that went off, all the ones who were killed were Muslims. I'm angry. When I see people dying in Iraq, they're all Muslim, most of them. I'm angry. So my anger comes from the fact that innocent people, Muslim, non-Muslim, atheists, purple people, brown people, tall people, short people, fat people, men, women, LGBT, are being killed. That's what drives my moral compass. I don't care about Orthodox Judaism. I don't care to defend it. I don't care about defending any tribalism. I don't care about defending any ideology. I care about people being able to live freely, with dignity, with safety, free of religious poison. But Mubin Sheikh says, no, apparently now I'm a bigot. The guy who said, hey, you'll come over to my house for dinner and I'll come over to his, and we were having a wonderful... The fact that I dared get angry after yet another attack. I didn't even mention Islam in the tweet in question, never mind mentioning individual Muslims. Yet his instinct is to defend the faith. That's the problem we're facing. People have to be honest about what we're facing. Millions of Muslims are perfectly decent and kind. I'm tired of repeating the same platitude. That doesn't mean that there isn't something very clear within Islamic doctrines that is causing this. I mean, only a fool or a diabolically duplicitous person would not admit to this, right? I mean, we're seeing it on a daily basis. Yet, this gentleman is upset because I can't accept the fact that all of these guys are fake guys and we're falling into the narrative of ISIS by linking it in any way to the faith. That's the problem we're facing. And that's the problem we're facing when you go to Wellesley and they will ape the same thing. And that's what happens when you watch CNN and they will ape the same thing. And that's what happens when you have Batman, his name escapes me, the guy with not Ben Stiller, I can't remember his name, Ben Affleck, who was angry at Sam Harris. All of this is part of ostrich parasitic syndrome. So decent people of all faiths and of no faiths have to be able to stand up at this point and say, we have a problem and we have to name it and we have to come up with concrete solutions as to how to resolve it. While we sit and tippy-toe around the matter, innumerable innocent people are killed. They don't have the solace of reform, right? Unicorn reform. They don't have the solace of the endless platitudes that we're hearing. We wish to live in a society that is free of this craziness. So, what is the solution? Not sure. I've proposed a few. Others have proposed some. But at the very least, the first thing that we need to do is to be able to speak honestly, openly, and with dignity about this matter. And having someone like Mr. Sheikh come after me, literally a few minutes after I posted the comments that I did, shows you what OPS can do. In any case, I wish you all a good Sunday. I wish you peace, and I hope that one day soon we're able to resolve this situation so that all people, Muslims and non-Muslims alike, can live in peace and get rid of this endless global genocidal mayhem. Talk to you soon. Ciao.